what is generative AI? A branch of AI that helps create, right? The core word really is create things, right? So it is, we have been, there's, machine learning has been there for a long time, and people have been talking about it for decades now. But why has it become so popular today is because it's a branch of machine learning that has slowly evolved into this really novel concept where we use large sets of data, large amounts of data to train artificial intelligence to create new things. So large data creating new things. That's basically generative AI. And those new things can be code, text, images, video, sounds, whatever, right? They can be anything that you want them to be. And so why do we care? Should we care about generative AI as designers today, right? A lot of people feel like, is it going to replace us? Should we care because of that? Not really, though. AI is not going to replace designers. Just like any other technology, it's a tool, and tools require experts. And for us as designers, really the most important part is like, how does it change our design industry? This is where the past, where we were tied to budgets and timelines. Like if you wanted to make a video, you had to go out and hire a crew and then shoot the video and then take it to post production and then editing and then get it out to the real world. It's thousands of dollars or thousands of rupees, and spending all of that time and effort, right, just to get the smallest ideas out there. But now the idea of a budget becomes irrelevant. This video that I on the slide that you guys see over here, it's a very small, really quick trial video that I was able to make from like image to video in a matter of about 15 to 20 minutes, right? And that really is the power of AI, being able to come up with an idea and put it and bring it to life in front of whoever you're working with in a matter of minutes, in a matter of seconds, and without any budget, without any limits, right? And then also it completely unleashes your creative power, right? You can just think of anything, like, oh, I want to draw an airplane swimming underwater, and that would have been incredibly hard visual to communicate in the past, because that would require significant photo editing, significant skills on your part as a designer to make that happen. But today you can make that happen in a second. But it's really about the idea. It's more about the idea and creativity today than it ever was before. So as a designer, now you're bringing in the creativity, but think of AI as this partner that can help you do anything that you want, but just the thinking part has to come from you. And really that brings us to the last part is businesses are really aggressively adopting AI, right? Like whether you're working in a startup today or an agency or wherever you are, you can, rest assured that in the next year or so, your business will be aggressively adopting AI processes. They will be trying to use AI to reduce costs as much as possible. And so it's better for us as professionals to just get ahead of the curve, just learn this new technology, evolve ourselves as professionals before it's too late, before everybody is caught off guard, and we have this new world that we're living in, and now we don't know how to use AI. So get ahead of the curve, become an AI user before you become a target for AI replacement, basically. Where are some of these basic foundational areas where you can start to include AI in your workflows today? There are, of course, AI enthusiasts over here in the crowd today, and you would already kind of be using a lot of these things, right? We will be talking about AI image and video creation today. Of course, that's the first thing that comes to mind. And let's start creating images for my designs or my UI or my website, whatever that is. Like, start creating images today. Start using them. That's possible today. Let's do that. Let's incorporate that into your process. Next is this is an amazing process that with our other my colleagues, we have been discussing this and started using this a lot more lately, is for research and for idea generations. You can literally ask, if you don't have access to your customers, if you don't have easy access to your customers, you can literally create your own personas. You can ask AI to pretend to be a user of a certain, mindset, of a certain, properties, and then it will respond to you accordingly. It'll give you information accordingly. You can ask it for ideas like, hey, in fact, the structure of this deck, like this lecture itself, is AI generated. I asked AI like, hey, give me a deck for an AI lecture, and it actually gave me like this list structure. Of course I had to give it a lot of ideation, a lot of content on top of it myself, but the point is, start with that seed, and that seed is really like, AI can help you get started over there. On additionally, say on content, you want to write website copy, or you want to improve your case studies on your portfolio, you want to put a website up there. Why Some of the biggest problems that I've seen designers suffer with is, before their portfolio, when they want to put it out there, is how do I write this entire story about my portfolio, right? But AI can help you get that done today in seconds. Just write a small paragraph, and it'll help you turn that into a 300-page article for your website or for your portfolio. Put that up, edit that, make it your story. Don't completely plagiarize it, but then at the same time, it'll help you get ahead of the curve a lot faster. There's a lot of other smaller more advanced applications, not smaller, but you can create your own assets using AI. Designers who are not able to code are able to just build their own things, like build your own widgets on your own portfolio website, like a custom sign up form or a custom calendar selection, something that wows people. Even if you don't know how to code, you can do that today. You can build your own mini games or applications where, oh, I want to make a game idea today and go present that to an investor tomorrow and then get a funding. That is possible today without a co-founder, without a developer. You can get that done today. And similarly, enhancing your creative workflows, all of the grunt work, all of the repetitive work goes off to AI, and you're able to just kind of do your main exploration yourself. So there's a lot of things to do, and this is just a very small sliver of all of the other things that AI can help you accomplish. So we're definitely entering an exciting age of AI and productivity as professionals. So diving more deeper into just image generation itself, right? Which is this part of AI that we're just going to focus a little bit on today, is image generation and image generation techniques. This is just to help you guys get started. And so some of the basic techniques for image generation that we'll be talking about today is prompting, basic text to image. Start with a prompt, get an image out of it. Image to image, use an existing image, use its properties or its character or its composition or its style, and then create an image that either looks like it or has the same objects or something like that. Image to image. Sketch to image. If you're an artist or someone who has a concept, then you can sketch it. AI is your amazing friend. You can bring any sketch or any idea to life really, really effectively like that. So we'll be talking about that a little bit. And we'll be talking about, we'll be basically touching, fine-tuning a little bit, but fine-tuning is a little more advanced topic, so we will be covering it in our next sessions as we learn more about AI. So what are the most popular image models out there? And there's a ton of them, right? Like, there's a lot of models, and every model is good for one thing or the other. And honestly, unless you actually go out and try them out, you won't really develop a feel for what's great for what. And there's new models coming out every day. Maybe even tomorrow when I present this slide again, maybe 2 months from now, the list of models has completely changed. But today, so far, there are these models that are at the top of the list, right? DALL-E, but however you guys like to pronounce it, is one of the first ones that we all got to know about. OpenAI, ChatGPT based. In our testing, in our usage so far, DALL-E has been great for images and illustrations that are less realistic, but still are like a specific composition. If you want to do an illustration or a slightly more cartoonish image, I've found like DALL-E does a great job at that. Midjourney for highly stylized or artistic images. If you want images that are magical or really dreamy looking or have a lot of visual effects added to them, Midjourney does an amazing job at this really customized, stylized, artistic image generation. Flux has different variations, but Flux Dev, Flux Context, Flux, there's a lot of different sub variations of Flux, but Flux is great for One, realistic image generation. It generates the most real to true to life realistic images, and you're able to fine tune it. This is one of those models where fine tuning has become a little more popular because fine tuning Flux is really easy, and then you can create your own models, your own object models or product models or people models, and then use Flux to do that. Google's Imagen is another one. Google's Imagen is really popular for prompt adherence. So it will do what you ask it to do. It'll do nothing more and nothing less. So not for highly complex creative work, but it is great for like, hey, I want to generate a really quick image for my website, and it has a very specific idea in mind. Imagen is probably the way to go there, but we'll definitely explore different variations over here in our sessions today. And then Recraft is for if you want to generate icon sets or vectors with AI, if you want to generate illustrations and custom things that you can then turn into SVG and import into Figma or things like that. Recraft is your friend. You can try it out on its own, or it's available in other tools as integrated third party as well. And then Ideogram is another model for with say like graphic design. It handles text really well, and text rendering really well. So if there's any design that you want to come up with that has text as a part of it, like, oh, I want a card design that has this text written on top of it, Ideogram will do a great job at bringing that to life. I will show you one example of it in performance today, but as we go further, we'll discuss more down the road. So hopefully people have gotten a decent idea of what the models are, and I'd be happy to answer questions down the road in our Q&A session. All these models, but what's at the back end of all of these is this technology called diffusion. At the core of most of these models, not all of them, most of them, how does it work? This is not a deep technical exploration. We're not going to go into code and how the technology actually works, but just to build an intuitive sense of how AI works, how does it actually make it happen, right? Think about it this way. AI works by first training the model and then using that training to develop and create things. So the training part is this top arrow. We provide AI with a lot of existing real data, and we tell AI, hey, start filling this data with noise. And it starts to put noise into a real image up to the point that that image becomes completely noise. It's all noise, nothing but noise, right? And so AI then understands, oh, from this real image to this completely noisy image, I had to put this much noise into it and this much. And you do that process over and over and over and over again. And you have so many images that have been converted from a real image to noise by AI. And now AI understand what it takes, what kind of noise it takes to convert that image to noise. Now, when you want AI to create something, what do? AI starts with noise. It starts with noise that has nothing, means nothing, but then starts to denoise that image based off of its training and comes to a real image by removing the noise that it previously kind of learns how to add. And that's how it basically works, is by noising and denoising. That's the process that we call diffusion. And a lot of these models, Midjourney, Flux, Ideogram, Imagen, most of them work on diffusion. How do you start to use AI today? You can start to use these models directly. Go to openai.com. You can use all of their image generation models. You can search Google's Imagen or Flux's website and go to their websites directly, and you can use individual models today. Just sign up like any user, and it doesn't take a lot of technical knowledge to just go in and type in a prompt and just start to get your results. The issue is that it's not about one single model. It's not about just like going and learning one model and then being like, hey, I'm done. That's not really about it. It's about learning the combination of models and bringing these things together in your workflows. And that's where this next thing comes in. Is like, use third-party tools. My apologies. Use third-party tools that combine all of these other models into one easy to use place for you, where you can then use these models in whatever combination you want, and you create your own workflows. Okay? And that's where third-party tools like FreePic or OpenArt will come in. We will do a quick demo of FreePic today as well in our session. Additionally, there are other tools that are specific AI workflow tools. I'll be covering one of these today called Vivi, but there's a ton of others evolving today as AI becomes more of a thing. AI applications are becoming real. So AI workflow tools where you can create like graphs of one thing to another thing to another and create your own creative process. That's what these tools are about. We'd like to show you those and how you can then incorporate those into your creative workflow. And then lastly is being able to train your own custom models, slightly more advanced, being able to either leverage these third-party tools to train your own custom models, or use code and tools like Replicate and Hugging Face. Even though they don't use code itself, you can still WYSIWYG a lot of that stuff as well. That is a little more advanced side. We will be covering that down the road. But for beginners, where do you get started? The middle two. For anyone who's starting to use AI today, the best place to get started is go to a tool like FreePic, or go to a tool like OpenArt, or go to a tool like Vivi, and just start playing around. Make mistakes, generate stupid images, generate wrong images, whatever you want to do, just play around. Keep that sense of play, and that will really like help you learn AI and get excited about it today. I'm going to transfer it over to Nida, who will be demoing FreePic for us today, and just a few techniques, including prompting, image to image, and sketch to image.
So creating an image with a prompt, with a reference image, and with a sketch. For this particular exercise, I have chosen a hypothetical brand, which is basically, so the brand is a female ride-sharing service in Pakistan. And the reason for sharing this brand is that this is a kind of service, or when I think of images for this particular brand, it's still very unique. Like you won't find too many stock images or references or resources available for this kind of service. I think that's a good exercise to generate images with AI for that particular brand. First thing is using prompt to create an image. So with the prompt, so the first image, so we have, like as I mentioned, there are three basically scenarios that I'll be covering. Generating 3 images for maybe a campaign that I'm building for this particular brand. The first image that I want to create is an image of a female Pakistani driver who's driving a car and she's smiling. And I think that kind of image will work really well on a ad that I want to create for this particular brand. In my process, like there were multiple ways of generating a prompt for yourself. Like if you have a really specific idea of what you want to create, you can write a really detailed prompt yourself as well. Defining the mood, the lighting, the color, clothes color, or type of clothes they're wearing, the angle, the shot itself, the mid shot, the wide angle shot. So you can write a prompt yourself as well. But again, just for the sake of time as well here, and then this is something that I follow in my own process as well. So I basically use ChatGPT to create a detailed prompt for the image. So I just give it a prompt: a female driver in Pakistan driving a car and smiling. So I got this a really detailed prompt. So sometimes the prompt is like really perfect, but sometimes you have to like tweak it as well. So you can tweak it, add in the details, delete the details so that it matches with what you want to create for this particular image. So I have copied that prompt here, and as you can just Khushnood mentioned, the best thing about FreePic is that you have like all of the models available within this one platform, so you don't have to jump onto different websites and other platforms to create images. And in this way, you can also sort of test and see what results you are getting from different models. So this is what I'm going to do right now as well. I'm going to create image using different models. Yes, and then the one thing is that I think not all of the models are available in the free version. I think it's just Flux 1.0 fast. But if you want to experiment with all the other models, you will have to upgrade to a paid version. So yeah, I'm going to just select Flux 1.0 fast here. There are other options here as well. I'm going to talk about style and composition just a little bit in a little while. But just as Khushnood mentioned, there are other sort of detail features available here, like object training and all of that stuff. Maybe we can cover that later in our other webinar on AI. I'm going to just generate image here. Let me just also select Flux Context Pro, and then I want to generate image with Flux as well, and then with Imagen 3 as well. So with Flux 1.0 fast, this is the result that I got. So if you see, obviously it's not perfect. We can, so in TPIC, we just as again Khushnood mentioned, we have this editing feature as well. So you go to edit image, and then there are certain options, really good options available here as well. You can, go into the background, can edit the specific background. You can upscale the image. Retouch is a really good option where you can just select a part of an image and just erase it. Yeah, it's going to take some time to generate that. It has erased the mirror from the image. So you can use the editing feature to further tweak the image or make it like really perfect. But so far I feel like the result it has created, it's not that bad. As you can see, the environment, the lighting, the expressions, the fingers are also sort of correct. There's no deformation there. This image, I think this looks really real. Again, the few things that we can sort of tweak, but it was able to produce like good results. The first draft is not that bad. So this was with Imagen 3. So this image is with Imagen 3. This is with Flux Context Pro, and this is with Flux 1.0 Fast. Obviously, again, that's the value in using this kind of platform where you can generate images and compare them, and then select the one that you see that works, that's closest to your requirement, and then go in and then edit it further, give it more prompt, and really like fine tune it. The second image that I want to create, so with the image, just as again Khushnood mentioned, Google Imagen 3, if you see here, this is already selected. You can see like I can't add a reference image here because just as Khushnood mentioned, it's a sort of a model that relies mainly on the prompt itself. But you can create a style. So if you go into style and if you go into new style, this is a slightly different feature from adding a reference image or just adding one or two images as a reference. This is a relatively like a complex sort of feature where you add in like 10 to 50 images to train the model on a specific style. And once you create that style, you can add that in your prompt and like use that to create images. So I'm going to select Flux Context Pro, and the image that I want to create, the second image I want to create is something like this. So I want to create an image of a female Pakistani driver driving. She's smiling. She has a passenger sitting at the back. So I'm going to add this image as a reference. And then, so there are two ways of creating the image with, using the image reference. I'm going to show you both sort of methods. So one is that, maybe I add a reference image and I give it a prompt that recreate the same image with the Pakistani female driver and Pakistani passenger at the back. Something like that. Let's see. So this is the result that I got, which is obviously not really good. So the other thing that I do, if you upload your image here in the prompt, what it does is that it creates the prompt, a really detailed prompt from the image itself. But obviously, since the image is of a man, two men, one is Hispanic, the other one is maybe American. So all of the, if you see the prompt here, all of the details are different. So what I do is smiling, Pakistani, female. So I change the details in the prompt to whatever I want. It's a really long prompt, and it will take time for me to change all the details. So what I've done I've done here is that I have already changed the prompt. So there's like minute details, changing the gender, he to she, and all of the details, changing it into a Pakistani context. And then I keep the reference image here as well, and Flux Context Pro as your model. I'm going to generate the image now. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Okay. So you can see again, It's not perfect, but at the same time, I think it's very close, very obviously very different from the result that you got in the first attempt. And again, as I mentioned, like you can go into edit image, you can add in like additional prompt and change it. So for now, like I can see like the passenger, she's not really sitting at the back, she's somewhere in the middle. So maybe we can fix that, try recreating the image. And then even in the editing mode, you can select different models and generate like different images or versions of the same image. So this is the second approach where you use image, and the third one is sketch to image. I can maybe use Google Imaging. So with Google Imaging 3, so if you go to composition and then if you go to sketch, so for the third image, I want to create a similar image, the sketch that you were seeing here before. The cars on the road, Pakistani environment, maybe that's the kind of image because, ride sharing service. I want to maybe convert that image later into a video and use it as, one of the shots in the video or ads. So I'm just going to quickly sketch it. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's see. So you use that image as a composition, and when you do that, it generates the prompt itself. So it is generating the prompt right now, and this is what it says: a winding road with two sets of paw prints and triangular signs indicating animal crossing stretches into the distance. So this is obviously, we don't want it, a winding road with two cars on the road in Pakistan. Let's see, Mari, Pakistan. Let's see. Google Imagine 3 is the context is lost. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I would love to compare this with Flux context.
Yeah.
Or Flux 1.0 would be.
1.0, yeah. So this is the second version, which is not that bad. I think okay, but yeah, I don't want a motorcycle. So yeah, let's compare it with Flux 1.0. I think the sketch is also really bad. It's unable to recognize the cars.
And one additional thing I'd add is the car
Okay.
model.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I think Flux was able to at least get the right two cars traveling around the road car from the foreground with the dash and mark the lanes. We need to add Pakistan or something. Yeah, I think this is good. So obviously, as I mentioned, you can go in and edit the image. Obviously, as you can see, I don't see a driver really in the car, but yeah, these are the details that you have to look into. But yeah, using these sort of techniques with this sketch, it's basically mainly the composition that it picks up. You will have to add in more details, the environment, the lighting, and all of that stuff. But yes, let me know if you guys have any questions, or maybe we can take the questions at the end. Khushnood, I'll hand it over to you for the demonstration.
All right. So thanks, Nida. I really appreciate the demo. So we are, we demonstrated basic prompting and image to image and sketch to image. A couple of things that I do want to add additionally on top of what Nida just demonstrated to you guys on image generation is editing these images within FreePic. The editing functionality, I do want to spend just a couple of more minutes on, and I will share my version of FreePic. So if you guys now see FreePic on my tab, basically I was just generating like a little more simpler compositions. I also tried all these like vehicles and trucks and roads, but let's take something that's we want to generate something maybe for a rocket flying or something. So let's come up with something that's a little more interesting, like toy rocket takes off in a living room. and we use Google Image. I actually like Google Imagen 4 for something like this, where it's a little more conceptual. We don't want that much image realism, but we still want something cool. So I'll just generate like using Google Image. And just for comparison, because I've been saying like, hey, Google Image would be better, I always try to compare a couple of different models. This is early on because again, testing, you want to make sure that you're getting the best results. So at least like we're starting out with, it's something interesting. This is interesting. This is actually more interesting. But what I wanted to generate for you guys is from here kind of demonstrating the concept of in painting and out painting, right? Let's start with editing this image. We have this image, and what is in painting versus out painting? You'll hear these words a lot by in lectures and stuff that you follow. In painting is taking this AI image, and then, like, for example, one of the basic demonstration that Nida already showed you guys was deleting something. But you can also like use a lot of ways to replace things in images, like this little kid over here, right? Like if I try to cover this entire guy, if I can, let me see if I can use a bigger brush. Of course I can. And I'll cover this dude, and maybe I'll add a little more area, and I'll say like three kids jump in excitement as they watch the rocket take off. So now it understands the context, right? Like, this is why I will be using Flux Context Pro. And let's give it a shot. Please don't embarrass me, AI. And then, so please, come on. It'll generate 4 images. I hope one of them is barely useful, which will be. Yay, look at these guys. They're happy. They're excited. This is way better. So it gives me 4 variations, right? Like this, or that's way better. So either this one or this one I kind of like. I'll just choose one variation and kind of go from there, right? Like, now this is my image creation. I got 3 kids who got really, really excited about this image. You can upscale things. You can take a smaller image and add more details to it. Like, some of the resolution details around their faces are a little blurry. So what I'd use is something like, an upscaler to take this image to 4K detail or things like that. And it'll try to create the same image and it'll upscale it. But the other things, still a lot of good fingers. Oh yeah, there's fingers over here. Problem. That's actually a really good point. Still good catch. We will do a little. If you upscale this image, it has started to do a better job at fingers. But let's let's give this another shot. So if I resize this image, right, I'm gonna delete some of the information over here, and I'm gonna do this. Say I started with this image and I had a portrait image that was just this. The concept of out painting would be like, hey, I want to convert this into a landscape image. And then I want to say like, toy rocket takes off inside a living room with a bunch of kids jumping in sight. Right? And so this will imagine the context out of it and try to execute this concepts, and it'll expand the image. And that's basically out painting, which it completely did a horrible job at least for now. Look at that. It's still generating, so the process is not complete yet. But this is one. This is the other. I think this one is a decent starting point. We'll go from here. So again, because of the model that I'm using, the level of quality that you will get from the images would be different. Some higher quality models would take more time. So in the interest of time, we're just using a little more faster models over here. Now, these are, again, examples of in painting. We started with this. Here's another example that I did a little bit yesterday. I had time to use a better model for this one, so which is why I kind of wanted to show this to you guys, where I started with a unicorn image and it says like it has wings, and this also came from a sketch. So I started with a unicorn sketch converted to image, which was essentially this, and then from here I said, hey, add a tiger stripe to this, and I did the same thing. I did editing on top of the body of the unicorn, and I said add tiger stripes, and then it added tiger stripes on top of it. Then I said change the background to a living room, and then change the background to a living room, and then some in painting, out painting. Again, some examples around that. So basically, it's about trial and error. It's a lot about you testing out what works for you and your specific use cases. Some models will work for some use cases, some will work for others, and it's really about trying that out and finding your best fit for your workflows. From here, though, I'd love to take you guys. We do have like about 10 minutes to go. I would love to give you a quick demo of Weavy, which is our next tool in our list. So Weavy, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. What is Weavy about? Weavy is similar to kind of FreePic, but in a way where it's a little more exciting, where it has all of these models for you in the same way: image editing models, video models, and other models itself. But it allows you to create workflows. And I've created this trial workflow just last night, just to make sure that I didn't waste everybody's time over here. But let's give you guys a simple example. Like, there's a tool, like you can drag in something like a prompt. Like, I dragged in a prompt element, and I can write in whatever prompt I want in here, right? Like toy rocket taking off in a living room. Right now, I go to my image model selection, and I have GPT, Imagen, Imagen 3, Flux, blah blah. All these image models are available here. So I'm gonna drag in one of Google Imagen, one of like Flux Pro, okay? And maybe you have these, two image model. It's called VV sign. Just noting that too over there. Yeah. So, and then I connect it to, like, my prompt is over here, and the same prompt I connect to both models, and I run both models, right? Toy rocket taking off into, and from there it'll run both models for me. And while it's actually generating these two things for me, and it's generating these images, in the meanwhile, I'll think about the next steps. What do I do with this, right? So what I can do is background, like, say for example, I want to remove the background and just take the rocket out itself, right? So I'll say, like, remove, this is a remove background tool over here, and I will connect I like this Flux image more. I'm going to delete this node, but I'll take from this prompt to this image, and I'll say, please remove this background for me, right? And I'll run this model, and it will kind of start to remove that background for me. And then what I wanted to show you guys as well was the ideogram graphics model. So let's just say text to, which model did I use over there? GPT image 1. So GPT is great for text images, like just plain. You can also use ideogram over here. It will generate a really good text rendering, but with GPT, it allows you to generate transparent text. So say, for example, I will duplicate my prompt element, and I will say I have another prompt, right? Like, from one prompt I created the image, and then from there I extracted the background, and from here I have another prompt, and this prompt says big blocky text with transparent background, open sans, all caps, white color, says time to launch, right? Something. And you can even create this on your own, like up in Photoshop, whatever, you went to Figma and you created over there, like you created a text PNG, and you export it and you bring it into this. But for now, for our demonstration, I'm just going to create this over here. The transparent background is going to be there. I actually should have run this before I run the model. I'm going to do this again. So transparent PNG, medium quality, 1024. That's what it's going to do. Over here, for example, this is like I got like time to launch, and I got this image, right? So what I'm gonna do is I have another tool called the compositor here, and this is my favorite part, right? It'll take a background. So I'll take my original background, and I'll take my new text, and I'll generate it on top, right? So it'll overlay this text on top, and I can do like these simple basic functions, like who just kind of overlay. And if this text or design came from like a tool like Photoshop or something, and I just imported the PNG, this would be even better, right? And I take one composition, and then I take another composition. So over here, I put my rocket back on top, right? And the background here. And so now we have an image that looks pretty interesting. The rocket is on top of the text. We have like a 3D image, and it all started with just one prompt over here. This is a very similar thing which I did last night. I said fruit in a bowl, fruit in a bowl, gotta love fruit, background extraction, text on top, and then on there. So this kind of like simple graphic design processes that you can build on your own. It's a very simple demonstration, but hopefully it kind of gives you guys the potential. When you put all these models together in a row, it really opens up possibilities for you. But hopefully this scratches the surface for a lot of people present here today. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope everybody found it useful and exciting, and hope inspiring enough to at least start experimenting with AI and using AI. Hope everyone has a great week. Take care. Reach out to us via feedback. Feel free to reach out with the email that you got, or just reach out to us on our socials, and we'd be happy to hear from you.